Well, aha, that looks right. We're nice and bright and cheerful.
Are we there?
Yes, I think we
Are we
are.
live yet?
I think
Are we
we are
live?
live, yes.
We are. Oh,
I hope so.
we're apparently live. Hi, everyone.
Push the button.
Did you push the button? We're not the guys.
No, we're not.
We're not the guys. So.
Which is good. I mean,
yeah.
Yes, we're in where the guys usually sit, and I'm in Jim's seat. This feels wrong.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, occasionally I'll sit in Ian's side when Ian's not here.
Yes. Look, hi, I'm back. I'm so glad to be back from tech. Oh my God, from the left coast. So
yes.
much better.
You have been in the land of.
Yes. So hi, everyone. So this particular round of the very beginning of this particular broadcast, we had a specific request that we go through the Raconteur Press contract. Now, normally Courtney would do this because she's the brilliant one who put all this together, but we happen to be sitting here. So, and Courtney is off playing in the snow, although she's there in the chat. I don't know if playing in the snow, considering the grumble I got earlier about it.
I think the word you're looking for is snowbound.
Snowbound. Yes.
Which can both be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yes. So yeah. So we figured we would go through this bit by bit, and then explain the reasoning behind a lot of the stuff that's in it, and that way people could just have a little snippet and understand more about why we do things the way we do them. So okay, here is the mythical thing, the 2-page contract that everybody wants to see appearing in their email, of which 20 of you are going to get, because we're going to get the postcards and contracts out finally. So this is actually a remarkably simple contract. This is what we use for all of our anthologies.
By design. It's a simple contract.
Yes. And you know what? I can go through it little by little here, and we can talk through parts of it. It starts off with an agreement saying it's entered into as of date, which is usually the date I send the contract, between Raconteur Press, which is us, and you, whoever you happen to be, and
for a publication.
For a publication, and we use your publication name, which is your author name if you choose to use that. In consideration of mutual promises and forbearances, the parties agree as follows. Author's grant. The author grants permission to publish their story called short story titled whatever it may be, a work expected to be so many words, and we don't necessarily put numbers there because we're paying by the word, because we don't, but we put that there mostly for my benefit, so I know how many words are actually in the book, so I can keep track of how many words we actually published in the whole year. And then that's referred to as the work. And then we'd say what is published in blank space, but the blank space is filled in by the name of the book that you get to be in. The publisher, that would be Raconteur Press.
Yes.
Will pay for all costs, including cover design, editing, ISBN, and formatting associated with printing, producing the work. And do we pay? We don't include the pay part of the hours in front of the computer things, but the rights that we purchase, this is the one that Courtney collects up really bad contracts for, and I really think sometimes she should read through some of those that she has. The only thing that we ask for, at Raconteur Press, this use of the work by the publisher entails the assignment of first world anthology rights for publication in the English language anywhere in the world. It is also understood and agreed that the publisher may use this work only in the above mentioned manner. The author shall retain all other rights, all of them. The only thing we ask for
is the first publication in an anthology.
Yes. And after that, we don't want to keep your stuff to make an opera, which was kind of hilarious when Courtney was reading me that contract. It was like, what? So we don't ask for audio. We don't ask for 3 years. We don't ask for 10. We ask for 1 year, and that's it.
1 year of exclusivity. And then
that's
it's released back to you.
And then after a year, you get it back. But guess what? We keep paying you. Now, mind you, we don't pay advances for our stories. We don't do that. A lot of other places do. What we do is all earnings royalties received by the publisher for the above mentioned collective work, 100% of all profits after cover and editing costs will be distributed evenly to the contributing authors via PubShare. PubShare does all of our bookkeeping for us. Now, when we say that, payment will be made via PubShare. A lot of companies will take a big, huge hunk, like 50%, which is okay. I understand that if they're doing all of their own accounting. We don't. But we do an even split. All of us, cover artist, admin person.
Yep.
I get a little smaller percentage depending upon it, but this is why we keep it at 10 people per book.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure that we don't have more than 10 people in a book, so everybody gets a good even share.
And that's why with postcards, with being 20 people, that's why we cut that off there.
Yeah.
Was because by the time we break the royalties out even further, it gets ridiculously small. So that was okay, we're going to chop that there. And then Courtney and I put in stories to help flesh that
make it bigger. Yeah. So, but we're not doing
we
postcards.
don't get paid extra. No, that's separate.
And Raconteur Press takes a very tiny percentage off the bottom of that to help pay for
actually publishing costs,
paperwork,
and a bunch of other stuff.
And paper clips, because I use a lot of paper clips. So all we ask is that there's no competing publication going on at the same time. You have every right to go and get author copies of your book through PubShare from Chuck at PubShare. He's a great guy to work with. Page 2, copyright. We note your copyright on the copyright notice for the work. You get credited in the table of contents. We don't make major alterations unless you piss off Sarah, our copy editor. But she will definitely tell you all about it in Technicolor if she has a problem. Because we love Sarah, but we don't ever give her sharp objects, except maybe snips to work on a story. But, that's how she is. So that's how we work. And we also, because we're all on the same team, we expect that you'll help us get it out there. Because, we're all pretty proud of your stories, right? And you're proud of your own stories. So you can expect the support of the entire team. And I have to say, the Raconteur Press gang of authors, and sometimes it does feel like a gang, waving their colors around. When we publish a book, it's like my feed turns into a giant list. Just that book is getting so much push. It's great. In this coming year, we expect to do a whole bunch more marketing. It's going to be an interesting year because our 24 and 24 is now 28 and heading for 30. But that's it. That's our entire contract.
That's all there is on the contract.
That's all there is. It's very simple. That's all we do. And I'll tell you, with some of the ones that Courtney showed me, with they wanted every single right with all these 24 different things on it. So it's like everything. I'm sure you've seen some interesting ones.
I know. I've seen some really weird ones. I've seen some that were outrageous to the point where lawyers looked at them and said, that's not enforceable.
Yep.
But it's basically what the contract is it sets out what the author can expect from us and what we expect from the author.
Yep.
And it allows the author to check and make sure that details like their pen names are correct, which also need to get checked again at PubShare. So the last book that came out, I'll tell a story on myself.
You did.
Because I did it.
She did it. It was very cute. Yeah.
No, I put a story into the slush with my pen name, Lalenia Begley. And because I chose to have a pen name when I write romance so that my readers can tell quickly and easily what they're going to get in this book. It's a good reason to have a pen name. But when we set up PubShare, I had not been specific enough and it got set up under Cedar Sanderson. Oops. And I just skimmed through and hit the button to accept PubShare because I've seen that agreement a million times. And I didn't even think about it until the book had been published and I couldn't claim it under my Lalenia Begley author because my name doesn't appear in the thing. And I'm like, crap. So, yeah, no,
Yeah.
always check the details, especially if you're using a pen name and especially if you're using a closed pen name.
Yeah.
In my case, it's an open pen name, I don't care,
Yeah.
but,
But still.
it's one of those things you've gotta catch yourself,
Mhm.
and a
Yeah.
contract is a great place to get that all lined up and
Yeah.
neat and even.
And when I send them out,
So
I very clearly say, check all the spots and make sure everything's
mhm.
right.
Yeah, don't just skim it and sign
Because
it.
we have 3 different places in the background where we have the if you have a pen name, then we have those
Mhm.
2 spots, and then we have a final run through where we go through and look to make sure, but I don't necessarily go and look at Amazon once the book is published to make sure that the
Right,
names
because
match.
that feeds from
That
PubShare.
comes from PubShare.
So,
So, yeah.
in PubShare, we set up the participants, and then people go in and they accept it.
Mhm.
But when they set up their own PubShare account, that name is what gets when you set up your PubShare account for the first
Mhm.
with the name that you want used in books, there's a potential there for a miss. Um, and in my case, it was just, whoops, sorry guys.
Yeah, and,
And I don't care if it gets fixed or
and
not,
Courtney is
but
saying in the comments that she adds people to PubShare based on their email that they've
mhm,
set up with PubShare. And
right.
whatever name you attach to your PubShare is what gets used on Amazon.
And you don't have to put your legal name
No,
there in PubShare. You do
no.
not. You can put your pen name in. That way it automatically fills in and you don't have to worry about it. In my case, because I have two pen names, I set it up under one, but I can manually change it to the other. I just have to remember to do that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So, wow, in under 15
so
minutes, that's the entire Raconteur Press contract.
yep,
There you go.
yep.
That was way too easy
So.
now, wasn't it? So,
Well,
so
that's the thing though, is that I have seen contracts that ran pages and pages and pages.
yeah,
And honestly, that's way more than we need. The Sanderly Studios contract is very similar to that one.
yeah,
The contract that I use with cover design clients is a single page.
yep,
And basically, it's just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
yep.
And with covers, I kind of had to learn the hard way that I needed to have a contract in place
Huh?
because I
Didn't we
mean,
have that conversation?
yeah, we
Yeah,
did,
we did.
and I've had it with multiple people, but um, yeah, it's just it's even if I'm working mostly with friends because I'm very selective with who I take on as a client these
Yeah,
days. Having a contract helps both of us to have a
yeah.
reference, and it's part of business paperwork. You need to have it.
Whenever I
So,
did a wedding dress, it was 10 pages.
oof, that's a lot. But yeah, I
It's
get
a
that.
wedding
It's
dress.
a wedding dress.
I mean,
I
it's
get that.
oh, it includes things
So,
like who's wearing the dress, so who gets final say and sign on the dotted line. So we don't have to do that. So and that's a really nice thing. I mean,
mhm,
it's because we're just upfront and straightforward, and this is how it is, and there you go.
yes.
So and so yeah,
Yeah, if you have any questions, let us know in the chat because we are reading it. We know you're all talking amongst
I
yourself,
know you're
and
just kind of like we're just here for decoration because you guys you're having a good time. So, but yeah,
yeah,
so
and adding some in every so often isn't a bad thing. I mean, I think I don't know if we have any verbiage in there about rights revisions, but we probably should have specific
rights revisions.
reversion of.
Oh yeah, we do.
Um, I missed it when you
It's
were
in
going
there. I
through it.
didn't go over it, but after a year,
Yeah,
it comes
after
back.
yeah.
And not only that, as we said before, you get the rights back after a year.
Hmm.
But we keep selling the anthology, and
Right.
and if we keep selling and you keep making money, we keep sending you money.
Yep.
So you can go sell it somewhere else, and you can get paid twice for the
Right.
story, or you can put your own group of stories together.
Which I have done more than once, and they
Yeah.
actually do quite well. I mean,
Yeah.
I've taken a collection of anywhere from 5 to 8 stories, depending on the length,
Yeah.
slapped a cover on it, published it, and these are stories that have already been out mostly in
Mhm.
anthologies, and I'll usually put in the 1 or 2 fresh, new, never
Yeah.
been seen anywhere
Yeah.
else to give my fanatic readers, my fans,
Your fans.
to give them something, but they sell rather well. and they're not difficult to put together, at
No.
least not for me.
Well, and I have to say we have a bunch of young authors, newbies. I mean, they may
Mhm.
not be young in years, but they're young in writing years, which is kind of fun.
Yes.
Is that we're getting a nice little pile of stories. So
Yeah.
we may do the like we're probably not going to boot you out of the nest completely, but um,
Well, no, because we still wanna get
we
short
want to keep
stories
stories
from them,
from
but
you
we
because
also want
yeah,
them to spread their wings and move into
yeah,
other
yeah,
things. Um,
it's fun.
yeah, I write a short essay for all of the postcard books
Hmm.
to as filler, but also because, um I like to use those as teaching moments.
Hmm.
And so if you haven't bought the postcard anthologies, here's a new reason you should, which is that I've put into there's 7 of them now. Into every one of those postcard books, there is an essay in there that is intended to help you learn more about writing and publishing or using the different tools that we
Yeah,
use to create
yeah.
the postcard art. Um, so that all goes in there, but what I was writing about was the fact that the postcard stories at 50 words were themselves a training tool
Oh yeah, very much so.
because we taught you how to write a story, finish it, submit it on a deadline, properly formatted, word count all there,
It's kind of fun.
put your name on it
The
and
general
your
panic,
email.
the general panic of getting them in was so much fun to watch. So
Well, and I mean, you can do 50 words in a weekend.
yeah, well, what's interesting is how many people tell me they went, "Yeah, no, I can't. I'm not made for 50 words." And I'm like, "Yeah, actually you are. It's just a little
Yeah.
harder than you think."
Yeah,
So,
no, it is
yeah.
a challenge, but
Mhm.
if you sit down and you clear your mind and you stare at that image for 10 minutes
Mhm.
and then you start writing, you can have it done in 5 minutes. I
Mhm.
mean, you might have to go back and revise that,
Yeah.
but um
Yeah. Oh,
it's
and okay, so she made a note that yes, I
yes.
didn't read that part, Courtney, about the author's copies, but that's in there as well.
Mhm.
She just put a little paragraph about author's copies. The author may purchase as many paperback copies as they would like at a price equal to the publisher's cost.
Yes.
Which, yay!
Which is significantly less than going out and having to purchase them retail.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, but that
No,
was an
though,
important part.
that
Very
is an
important point.
important part.
Very important point.
And it's really easy to do with, Chuck at PubShare because
Yeah.
you email him, you tell him the title of the book that you want or books, you tell him how many you want and the address that you want them sent to, and he'll email you back with an invoice, and you
Mhm.
double check all your details,
Yep.
and very important,
Mhm.
and, um, and then do payment however you arrange with him. Um, I will say for those of you that are not experienced with Amazon and their shipping of
Oh, is that what they call it?
it is not 2-day prime shipping if you
No.
order wholesale copies from them.
No.
Allow 6 weeks before your event,
Yes.
preferably 8, but 6 to
Mhm.
be really safe.
Yeah.
Um, so it's important to plan ahead for events.
Mhm.
Not just your book copies, but you also want, if you're going to have any kind of printed promotional
Yep, gotta
material,
do those ahead too.
those, I mean, there are sources where you can go and you can have postcards printed in a hurry, but it's not cheap.
Mhm.
Far better to
Glenn.
use something like Canva or Vistaprint, or there's a ton of
There's so many
places out
things,
there.
yeah.
And we are now going to be providing
Author resources.
author resources, which will be things like files that have a bookmark, a postcard for each book.
Yes.
And
We got a
if
lot of requests for that,
yeah,
and so we started doing
yep,
that. We're putting them together where, and we're gonna be sending and we just did that with this latest,
yep,
Spurgle one was our very first one where
yep.
we sent out a file that had
He
a
was dead when I
postcard
got there.
and
Yep,
bookmarks, and people have been using them, which is really
yeah,
lovely. You can download and take it and get them
yep,
printed. So not only are we providing giving you your stories back in a year, we're giving you all the promotional materials too.
hmm,
So we have other
yep,
plans afoot. Courtney had a really good
yes.
one yesterday that I really want to run with, but we won't talk about that yet. So um,
But here's the thing is we're going to give you all the tools that you can use to succeed in working with us.
yes.
So we will do promotional stuff where we're going to be at a convention, but if you're going to be at a convention, you can absolutely have things printed up.
Yes.
And this, I mean, I'm a graphic designer. This is what I do.
Yes.
So you don't have to go out there and worry about, is your design going to be a good one? Is there going to be an issue with anything?
Yeah.
We're providing them to you.
Yep. On
Um,
brand,
yep,
as
and
Courtney
it's
says, on brand
on brand for
for Raconteur
Raconteur
Press.
Press, and they're all formatted and ready to go. If you have any questions, you can email me at rackpressdesign@gmail.com.
Yep.
If you have any questions about sizes or how to use them as a template, and if there is a desire for it, I will put together what I'm calling whole sheet designs that fit on an 8.5 by
Yeah.
11 sheet of paper that you could take to your local Office Depot, Kinko's, whatever, have printed on cardstock and cut out yourself if you're in a real hurry and a real budget. Because I've been there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's important to have those things and
Mhm.
several, and we're like, we have to do this. We must
No,
get moving on this.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do it for a while, but it was more of a
Like end of
uh,
year. Oh my God.
well,
So
and there's decisions that had to be made there, like,
yeah.
okay, what are we putting on this?
Yes. What does
And
this look like?
yeah,
What's the overall feel and stuff? So
because I created a template, and now from now on, I'm just swapping out certain elements so it'll have a really cohesive look to
yeah.
it, because that's important.
Yeah, because you're all part of our family. We want people to know that you're part of the Raconteur Press family.
And you
So
can learn from this yourself for
mhm.
your own materials,
Yeah.
where you can it's important to create a branded look.
Yes.
Having a logo is not essential, and you can do really simple stuff for
Yeah.
logos if you don't have the budget yet
Mhm.
to hire somebody like me to do a logo. I don't have time for all of you to come
Oh,
ask.
okay.
I mean, if you want a logo, you can hire me. I'll give Rack Press authors preference, but I don't have
Be
time to
careful when
do a
you say
million of
that
them.
because wow, have you seen the list of authors we published?
Oh,
Oh my
good lord,
goodness.
yes.
Our database is like, wow, this last year we've published so many people. It's
What,
just been so cool.
90
It's
authors?
insane. It's absolutely insane. And I
It's
love it. I
wonderful.
absolutely love it. It's the
Yeah,
best thing ever. It's so much fun. I
yeah.
have to tell you, contract day is the best day ever for me when I send out contracts
Mhm.
because people are like, I feel like they're sitting waiting by their computer on the day. It's like John is going to send the emails, and unfortunately, I was late because in San Francisco, my neighborhood had a whole internet outage, and the weeping and wailing and screaming in Tech Valley. People were out in the street rending their shirts because they didn't have internet. It was so bizarre. I don't know what happened, but we were just out for several hours. And when you open up your Wi-Fi selection list where we were, it was like 50 of things you could attach to. But yeah, it's like I don't want to be late with contracts ever again. But that's the best day for me
Yeah,
because I get so many happy emails back,
yeah.
especially with people when it's their very first story and they've been trying really hard to get in and they've grown so much. And
Mhm.
best day ever.
No, it's really fun to see people's reactions.
Yeah.
The one that I get to do and I love is I get to put people's names on the cover. I mean, I run this by the team.
Yeah.
And if you're a name author, you have a bunch of books out there and you come to us with a story, you're probably getting on the cover
Yeah.
because you'll help us and help
Yeah.
all the newbie authors. But at least once a book, I get to put someone on the cover that isn't expecting it, and that's
Yeah.
so much fun.
It's the best. Yeah, then we send out the promo square. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm on the cover!" No, it's like I can hear communing with dolphins from clear across the country. It's the best. So
Well, and there's nothing wrong with being team and more. I mean,
yes,
I have to say that Sam Rob's elevation of that to a whole club
it's a
has
club.
been fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's a thing.
oh, I had a moment.
Oh, really?
I was looking for, I forget what I was looking for,
Right.
but I found out that Raconteur Press's open calls are now being listed on the submission grinder.
Oh my god, we didn't even apply to them.
No, they
Unless
picked it
Courtney
up.
did, and we don't know.
Oh, well, Courtney may have done it, but I had Googled for something and it popped up and it was one of our open
Wow.
calls. And it was like, wow, okay then.
Wait,
We're out there.
but had to have like an official website, which we don't really have
But
yet,
there's
but
the
we're about
page
to.
on Law
But we have a
Dogs.
page on Law Dogs thing.
I don't know
But
how it happened. And I didn't click on it. I was in a hurry and looking for something
wow.
else. So yeah.
Okay, well, Sam was saying this morning that he's seen us appear with places that people we don't even know going, "Hey, you want to apply there?" I
Yeah.
have to say,
Yeah.
we've gotten a couple stories from people recently that I've gone, "Oh my god!" When I've opened the email for the submissions, and I'm like, "Yes, we have a person who sent a story in for James for his giant freaking robots. That he was literally, I mean, James is not a small man. He was bouncing around his room, just so excited that this particular author had sent a story in. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it just
I hope we
this whole
never lose this
thing,
joy.
right? No,
You
this whole
know?
thing has been so much fun. It's
Yeah,
just fun.
it's fun.
We're having fun. We're getting paid. I mean, what more could you
Yeah.
want?
So all of that, all of that is fun.
It
And
is.
it's wildly stressful all at the same time. But it's like, ah. So as we keep getting these really amazing piles of stories, it's going to be an interesting year for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think at this point we're looking at when we have another anthology go crazy, because we will.
Oh my God, we already have.
Then we're going to be pushing into 2025 with scheduling. We have to.
Have to.
We can't do everything in 2024.
Us, huh? You know, no, we can't, and also not completely lose our minds.
Well,
We did get asked if we were going to be at MarsCon, and so
I will not,
she will not
but
be at MarsCon, but I will be there. Courtney will
mhm,
be there.
mhm.
Ian will be there. Rita was planning on coming, but they have a puppy who's requiring lots and lots of care. Like
Tender
they have
loving
to like
care.
force food
Yeah,
into him, so she's not going to be able to come. So
yeah.
we'll be there for sure, along with a bunch of the Racketeer Press authors and intern Steve.
Yes.
So we get intern Steve in the flesh, if he doesn't run away screaming. so, so so
Nardo,
anyway,
Nardo Polo, I got to put you on a cover,
yeah,
which made perfect sense because you have several books out there, sir.
yeah.
Um,
So there. Haha.
yes, yes, we should publicize some more.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Um,
So yeah, that's kind of the whole rundown on the contract thing and the how much fun we have. So
well, I mean, and that's the thing is we're trying to keep this simple. We're trying to set up systems,
mhm.
things like having a contract day is a good thing because then people know what to expect
Yeah.
and they know to
Oh, I learned
look.
something really important.
Oh,
So, because what I was doing is when the call closed, I was going to our page on Law Dog
hmm
Files and just wiping the whole thing off, which meant they couldn't tell when the contracts were coming out. I was like, oh, that was dumb. So I went back and I took out all of the open part and said, this is now closed. Contract
yes,
day is this, and
yes,
publication day is this. And I
yes.
was like, things we
That makes
learn as
yeah,
we're going along. Because
yeah.
it
I
was
think
like, I get all these emails going, so when are the contracts for that? I'm like, it's right.
yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah,
yeah.
my
Nope.
bad. Sorry.
Oops. Well, and I know I was in there the other day doing something, and one was closed, and so I noted that and did
Oh,
the
thank
same
you.
thing, but left all of the other
All the
dates
other stuff.
because that's good to have that traceability
Yep.
back to.
Yep. So you guys know.
So
So and learning all sorts of things about automatic emails and things, but all right, this year is all about
we're
getting those things
learning
figured out.
things. Yep,
And,
learning lots.
and yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
so anyway,
right now I am running an Amazon ad campaign paired with I signed up for and have two books on sale and in a big I don't know what to call it. It's a big promo, shared author promo thing. So I have the Groundskeeper book one is actually free this week.
oh,
So
cool.
if you haven't got it yet, you can grab it for free and get a taste for Chloe and her very strange job at the cemetery. And Vulcan's Kittens is on sale for 99 cents. So I'm collecting data, and Courtney and I have been going back and forth and talking about um, that a little bit, which is getting me more learned in the way of advertising and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But also the idea of running the sales prices, the promotional prices
Yeah.
at the same time as the ads is there won't be an immediate return on investment from the ads because one of them's free. I mean, I'm not going to make any money when people download that, but that isn't why.
Yeah.
the motive is behind that. So this is the kind of thing that I'm trying to do and then share that information with y'all
Mhm.
because I've never done any kind of thing with Facebook ads.
Mhm.
I know there are people out there that do and swear by them, but I've done Amazon ads and I've actually done ads in some different and more creative venues where I thought we
Oh,
were going to be um, in front of an audience that would
huh.
appreciate the books. So
Should be kind
those,
of fun to hear about that,
well,
how that plays out.
yeah, and again with those, you don't get a visible return on investment.
Mhm.
It is a matter of branding and getting your name out there in front of people.
Well, I don't know. 11 of the top 100 anthologies having your name on them in some capacity might be something that was working for you.
I,
So,
you know, I was kind of blown away by that because I it's not something
if
I
you
was
guys
trying to
don't
do
know, so what was it yesterday we did this? It was
yesterday, day
yesterday.
before, somewhere in there.
We put a note in North Texas Troublemakers, but there were 11. I mean, we're already holding down 6 or 7 of the top 100 science fiction anthologies on Amazon, just Raconteur Press. And then
Mhm.
if you add in our friends and Cedars, she had 11 things that she had her
Yeah.
fingers in.
Yep.
11 in the top and back up there. I'm just
Yeah, no,
loving that. It's
I
great.
was loving that.
Top 100. Monkeys in space?
Right,
No. And it's like,
and scrolling through it and I'm like, "Yep, that one's mine, and that one's mine," and so I started to, like, screenshot
yeah.
them and throw them on a page so I could line them all up and look at them. And I'm like,
Oh,
"Crud, I'm
it's
in a
like,
lot
right.
of these."
You're in a ton of them. So, yeah, it was like, "Oh, look at
So
that." So, there was a time in November when we were at 20 books, we were holding
mhm,
down 8 of the top
yeah.
100.
Yeah, this is a
Um,
significant
so
chunk.
we're
Yeah,
rocking it.
yeah,
Yeah, which is
yeah.
really fun, and I have to admit, there's a competitive spirit in me about who is not above us on the list. So it's like, so there. Ah. So,
I mean,
but I love the fact that we're doing so. I mean, Kelly's up there all the time,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then Three Ravens has his up there, and
Well,
Maggie's stuff is up there.
and the,
Yeah,
Fae Wars,
and the
the
Fae
Canon
Wars is doing
Publishing
great.
is still holding into
Yeah.
that top, and it's been out for months
So I
now.
gotta say, our little gang, our
So,
little community of publishers and authors, we're rocking that category.
we
So
are we are part of, the transformation of publishing
yep,
that is being done by some small presses, and we are small, but we are powerful because looking at those top 100s in our
oh
genre,
my god, I just
we
had an
are
image of
ranking there.
sorry, this is Nutcracker season, so I just had this image of we are small but mighty, all the little mice from Nutcracker with their little mouse hats on.
Yes,
So small but
yes.
mighty. So, but it's true. I mean, we definitely hit a nerve with all this stuff. So I'm
Well,
pretty
and
proud of the work we've done this year.
I
So
mean, the thing
oh, it's likely me not paying attention.
the thing is that traditional publishing is so stuck in a rut, and we are small, we're agile, we're able to be um creative in ways that they literally
No,
cannot.
so they're trapped.
They have the too much infrastructure to be able to move as quickly as we do.
Yes,
I
they're
mean,
hippos and tutus.
momentum. And that's what they are. They're literally running on momentum at this
Yeah,
point, and
yeah.
that's it.
Well, a sharp turn to the right is not something that's easy for something with that much massive behemoth stuff going
Mhm.
on behind it. And
Yeah.
it's not for lack of trying on their part because there's a lot of the large publishers who are trying, but they've
Yeah.
got so much. It's yeah. I mean, I've never been referred to as tiny but fierce. I think ever in my life. I think it's the first time that's ever applied to me. Um,
I have.
yeah.
A
Oh
petite
my god,
female
you're
gets.
doing hippos and tutus, Courtney.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love it.
Well,
Oh, that's great.
I was reading an article on Substack today, about microculture versus macroculture,
No,
and he was specifically talking, and I can't remember which Substacker it was. Sorry, guys.
that's the problem is I
Um,
lose track of who I'm reading. So,
I mean, there's so many good ones. I keep
oh my
finding new ones and
goodness. Okay,
subscribing to it.
okay.
It's great. Um, but which is that macroculture is things like, the big 3 news media. He was saying that in his childhood, it was all the news came from the same
ABC,
sources.
NBC, CBS, and sometimes we would watch, NPR,
Yeah,
and that was it.
but and then, like, newspapers, everything came from the AP.
Yep, AP or routers. Yeah,
So
yeah.
and all the broadcasters sounded the
Of
same,
course, they all
and
went to the same school in the
right.
Midwest to get the
Mhm.
Midwest accent. So,
So the thing is that now we're seeing a fracture into back to the concept of local.
yeah,
And that's what he was talking about because there was a push to censor Substack, and I've been kind of following along with the
yeah,
pushback
yeah,
against that, and some of the reasons and rationales for don't do it, and this is why. And one of the reasons is quite simply that with Substack, unlike Facebook or Twitter, you only see what you have opted
yep.
in to see,
Hmm.
and whatever that those opt-in people are sharing.
Yes,
So it
it
can become an echo chamber, yes.
can. Yeah.
But if you curate and you have broad enough and diverse enough interests
Hmm.
to make it not an echo chamber, then it doesn't have to be.
Nope.
But you're also not going to see some of the really weird stuff that Twitter and Facebook decide you have to see.
For you, sorting. It's like I'm not into. No, it's
Facebook
like
does this to me all the
I
time.
know.
And
It's just.
sometimes they'll send me I got successfully marketed to for a group
Oh.
on Facebook and I joined it.
Okay.
It's called Unspectacular Photography.
Unspectacular photography.
Unspectacular.
Just boring everyday photography.
Well, they're usually really good photos, but of things that you wouldn't expect. Like somebody took this really cool picture of boxes of baguettes sitting on the side of the street in
Oh,
France. They're getting ready to be delivered.
okay. It's just
And
like
it was really well lit and it was
okay.
well composed, but it's just like cardboard boxes with baguettes in them.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's a really fun group. So that was a successful but there's been dozens of times that I will get all of a sudden my Facebook feed will be full of random weird stuff I don't wanna see.
Um, yeah,
So,
we won't
yeah.
discuss the random weird stuff that
Mm.
shows up
No, well,
online.
and in groups, it's even
It's
worse.
the groups I've been recommend it's just yeah, so Substack doesn't have that.
Substack does
So,
not.
but you're right about the micro and macro cultures. I mean,
Mhm.
because I feel like we're a microculture inside the larger science fiction culture,
Yes, yes,
and we're just
that's the
rambling
thing
along
is
having a hell of
it's
a time.
local.
Yeah,
We are our own local, and we kind of pull into that community, but people choose to be part of that
yeah,
community.
and it's fun. I mean, it's
So,
like I think we've staked out the corner of um, have fun, get paid, have a good time in the bar,
mhm,
and just let's just go have a good time,
yeah, yeah.
because so yeah,
Well, that's part of the title of the last open call for postcards. We wound up titling it "Last Call"
yeah, I know,
because we're in the bar until last call.
right? And it's very often past that.
I'm not, I go to bed early, but they are.
Well, but as I said on our Discord, I said that it was like I was really advocating for never again just because of the sheer amount of work the postcards have been. But
Mhm.
last call is a lot better. It
Well,
really
and
is.
last call
So
leaves it open,
it
so
does.
if we do follow-ons with some of the postcards that we
Yeah.
didn't make it into the first one, then
Yeah. So
it's not a final, "Oh, wait, no, we didn't mean it."
that was yeah. Talk about a chaotic stretch. I was just thinking about this
Oh.
last year. I was talking with Cedar before we started because we had like a nine pages of stuff I had written out,
Mhm.
each project with its own page of things that we wanted to do this year.
"Hi, Julie."
And and it was like, wow, there's only one thing we didn't do on that. And and it's purely because we've spent the entire year learning about it. So
Mhm.
so I guess we did kind of do it. We did all the research for that
Yeah,
particular project.
yeah.
So maybe next year. Um or the year after. Anyway, but it's been fascinating this last year. It was so weird being gone for 7 weeks. That was really
We missed you.
well, it was very I returned to a culture that I left on purpose. And
Mhm.
when the further longer you spend away from a particular culture and then come back to it, reentry can be a little more shocking.
Yeah.
$6 a gallon was
Oof.
shocking for gas, but it was very it was interesting to step away from being submerged in the author pool, because I'm not an author. It's not what I do. I don't write,
Yeah.
So, and I spend all of my time. I mean, every single person who comes in the shop here is an author.
And
Everybody who
that's
hangs
what we
out
talk
here
about.
is an author, and you want to talk about author things. So, and I'm, and I get it because I spend most of my time around authors and did for years and years. When
David Hensley, postcards. Y'all ain't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. So true.
Yeah, but it was interesting to me to return kind of to my theater gang,
Mhm.
and well, I know I could never stay there with my theater gang because after 3 days they'd all be forgetting that not everybody believes like they do in the same room. But it was still fun to hang out with theater folk and remind myself, and work in the costume shop for Dickens, where I got to hang out with a whole bunch of people who sew at my level, and frantically trying to fix Sherlock's coat because there's going to be a thing on Thursday, and two of us diving into it full bore because we were the most experienced and fastest. That was like, wow, that was really, I don't ever want to do this again. So it was kind of weird. The reentry this time was a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, sometimes you go away from home just so you can be reminded how much you want to go home.
yeah, yeah. Well, I loved being able to see the ocean, which was great,
Mm.
and
Yeah, I miss that.
trees, real
Trees are
trees,
good.
not the things they have here. But it was also the $3 drop in the price of gas as I crossed the border
Mhm.
was
Yeah. Oof.
insane. So, and
Yeah.
you're right, and you had tilted launchers. So, so yeah, that was interesting, but uh, yeah, 7 weeks away was too long, and it's going to happen again. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my plans for this upcoming year actually involves the broadcast and y'all being gone,
yeah.
which is that I'm going to set up more interviews.
Oh yeah.
And even what I'd like to coordinate are like panels where I have more than one,
Mm-hmm.
and I can moderate and get people talking about things that
Yeah.
interest in them and let them get all enthusiastic.
Right.
Because I can't go to the cons and be in panels or on panels, but I can provide panel experiences for other people that
Yes, you
can't go to a
can,
con.
and we will have the
So,
tools shortly to do that.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That would be
So
fun.
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to doing that,
Mhm.
and I think that it'll be really fun to do,
Yeah.
and yeah, yes. So many, you have so many. You are
I
the panel
know. I
ideal
know. You're just
woman.
like what? We're like, oh, we can do it. Oh, we can do this. And we can do. Part of that is just we have so many things in our heads that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's it. Author fight. Two authors enter, one author leaves.
I don't know if I want to get that violent.
Well, I don't know. I mean, some of the military science fiction guys would probably enjoy that.
Well, that's true.
They could do
That's true.
theoretical stuff. There's this group that does. They do LARPing of.
Mhm.
It's like this vampire society on the West Coast, and I think it's other places too. But they have all these hand signals for this thing they're doing at these events about what the battle is.
Interesting.
I know it's kind of fun. So and I
Yeah.
was like, you could do that on. It's like anyway.
I'm actually thinking.
Nerf guns. I'm totally into Nerf guns.
It just reminded me that we had a lively discussion in my Discord in Book Club with Spikes about Paul Anderson because I was reading him.
Oh, Paul Anderson, yeah.
And Deej pointed out that his style changed, and he's not quite sure when that happened or why.
It's a delightful, wonderful man, Paul Anderson. Mm-hmm. He was the sweetest, kindest, most delightful guy.
I am so jealous that you knew all these wonderful authors.
Spent many a party evening just hanging out. I didn't actually spend a lot of time talking to him because I was like, "This is wonderful," But yeah. I mean, because he was one of the few that I was kind of starstruck about. Mm-hmm. But he was just so kind, and so sweet. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
No, Ben Yellow was up this weekend, and every time I see Ben, I get homework.
Ben. Next time he shows up, we're going to sit his butt down and have him tell stories. And just record him.
We should.
So,
but I always get homework, and one of the things, I mean, he brought me a book and gave me a
If
book.
Daniela gives you a book to read,
You read it.
you know it's going to be good.
So in this case, so now y'all get homework. Frederick Brown, who we've been promoting his short stories, and in
Yes.
fact, we've been promoting a specific volume of his short science fiction that was edited by Ben Yalow.
Yeah, it's all of his short
His
science fiction
short,
collected. So
his short mysteries are harder to find,
they're marvelous.
and they are absolutely wonderful. Deej edited and released The Screaming Mimi,
Yes.
and it's Mimi. So if you go on Amazon and look for The Screaming Mimi,
Mhm.
that was put out by Ictopop Media, I highly recommend that.
Yes.
And then the other one that Ben handed me a copy of, because as he said, he accumulates duplicate copies of certain books so he can
On
give them
purpose.
away when people need to know more. It was The Fabulous Clip Joint,
Oh, such a good
which is
So good.
noir. It is very noir.
Mm.
And it is Frederick Brown, and it is just a wonderful mystery read, and the characters are fantastic,
Yes.
and the setting is amazing, and really just you will enjoy reading that.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you'll go, why am I trying to write? And put the book down.
I always have, well, and then I segued from that into, I have a pulp paperback collection called Mostly Murder, which is 18 short Frederick Brown mysteries. Because his mysteries are not available in ebook mostly, Ben actually explained that there was a publisher that bought up the rights,
Yeah.
and they're not really putting them out there. So you're likely to have to find out of print copies. And the problem with pulp paperbacks, and I have quite a few of them in my collection, they're really difficult to read
They're so
because they
fragile.
crumble.
Yeah.
So I'm carefully reading this book and enjoying the heck out of it. But yeah, and then the other thing that Ben gave me for homework was, we were talking about mysteries because he realized that mystery was my first genre.
Yeah.
Before science fiction and fantasy, I was a mystery fan.
Mhm.
So he told me that I needed to read a Sherlock Holmes story. And I'm like, I'm not a big fan. A lot of Sherlock Holmes modern redos are pastiche, and they're not very good, and they break Holmes. And he's like, no, this wasn't Holmes, but it's a Holmes story. So Poul Anderson wrote a story called The Martian Crown Jewels.
Oh my God. Yes.
And I am not sure what collections it's in, but if you can find it, it's well worth the read. It is indeed Sherlock Holmes without being Holmes.
Yes.
And it meets that criteria of science fiction where it's a story that could not be written except as science fiction.
Mhm.
A lot of science fiction
Yeah.
stories are, you could change some things and they would just be regular fiction. And it used to be that a lot of places, when you were submitting science fiction stories, they insisted that it had to meet that criteria. You couldn't just change set it in space and say, "Oh, it's science fiction."
Yeah.
There had to be something integrally science fictional about it.
Yes.
Which I'm not sure I entirely agree
Jesse,
with.
stop it. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
No.
Seriously.
Just no.
No. So it was a very interesting image of a Kermit flail I'm going to throw at you at some point. So
Oh, the Kermit
the
flog?
Kermit
I
flail.
saw that.
Yes.
I
There was
saw
a
that.
flail with little Kermit hands on the end of it, and it was like, it brings a whole new meaning to the term Kermit flail. So
Or Kermit the Flog.
the flog, yes, something like that. I forget one of those. Just Jesse comes to dinner, smack. So, yeah. Anyway,
Oh, yes, we can
sorry,
be side
didn't mean to
railed so
derail you that
easily.
way, but it was just like, oh my God, Jesse, really? Ugh.
Well, that's the thing I love about having these conversations with Ben, is I always wind up going home and buying books.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he reminds me of books. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I remember that. And because,
Yeah.
I had a huge collection of books in my 20s.
mhm.
Huge, because I was hanging out with, let me guess, authors, and, haunting used bookstores, because we didn't have Amazon way back in the dark ages of time when I started. So we would routinely, Herb and a bunch of us, we'd go hit all the used bookstores we could find. And we had like a route around Oregon where we'd go find them. And we're so excited when we found cool things, and finding the older fiction, and I'm like, have you read this? Oh no, I haven't. I miss that. I miss doing the
Yeah.
run around to bookstores and digging through the stacks. And
Yeah, and I mean, I miss having decent used bookstores. If we have one locally, I'm not aware of
the
it.
only one that's even close is the one at the antique mall upstairs.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that one I know of.
yeah, but there's not.
Um, but what I've started doing is, I used to just buy used books through Amazon, but I discovered that thriftbooks.com, which is a big used book
Uh-oh.
seller, they offer a couple of things that appealed to me, which is one of which is if you build up so many points, you get a free book.
Oh, darn.
And
Free books.
um
That's
and they
terrible.
offer like if you shop on this day it's double points or you get extra points on your birthday or yeah, I've come to really but they also
What
if
were you
you
saying about too much clutter in your house?
no, no,
Books are not clutter.
I'm rebuilding my
You're
library.
rebuilding your library.
Yes.
That's what I should be doing, is rebuilding my library. So
But I
that's the
can
danger of turning the front into a little bookstore.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So
No, no, it's the same thing with your eBay stuff. You buy beautiful
yeah,
things
it's
and
really
then you
people
sell them
go, well,
again when
it's
you're
at
done
the
with
door.
them.
It's like it could be my personal library that I'm just happening to sell off at the same time.
Well, I had a lovely conversation, and unfortunately, his booth is no longer there, and I suspect he passed away because he was
Oh,
kind of shaky. But this older gentleman, he was telling me that he'd set up the booth there because he had to move into assisted living and didn't have room for
oh,
his
oh, that's
books.
right. Yeah,
He had a marvelous booth, all kinds of military history and Western
yeah,
history,
yeah,
and I should have bought more while it was still there because I went in
mm,
one day and it was gone.
yeah.
But he and I had a conversation. He said everything in the booth was something that he bought either because he was going to read it or because he had already read it and knew it was good. So it was a beautifully curated little used books section, and I
Nice.
loved it. And I was really sad when I walked in and it was gone. And I
Mm.
suspect he'd passed because he
Would not
was,
surprise me. So,
yeah.
as I have alluded to, plans are afoot to uh, create a vintage and used science fiction bookstore at the front of the Blanket Fort. We've had a request from the library that that would be a wonderful and glorious thing, and we seem to have this small press that's here all the time,
Mm.
and we have all these other science fiction authors who are here and Western writers, and I have this friend up in Kansas City who was a book dealer for a long, long time. Cough, Tully, cough. Who's like, I could bring you a couple of loads of books to sell off. So, and I know Ben wants to get rid of more.
Mhm.
So I may, and it's not a right now thing. It's something that'll probably happen in a couple of months. But
Yep.
it says
Plans are in
plans are
progress.
afoot. It's going to be a
Yes.
whole lot of moving stuff because everything I own is heavy. Um,
We may have to recruit some help.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a case of doing some major reshuffling. And
Yeah.
also gives us a spot to have, like, readings and people
Mhm.
that come and hang
Yep.
out and pick up the books
Yep.
locally,
We can do a little bit more public stuff
yeah,
and
and it'll help support because the rent's going up on the Blanket Fort, not as much as my landlord tried to, because he is a mere
uh,
child of 25 and I am not. So
I
that
think
negotiation was fun.
I think it can become a
I
destination.
think
I
it
really
can.
do.
Honestly, I think we could, and so
So,
I'm kind of looking forward to putting that together.
mhm.
And we could do book signings. Wouldn't that be
Yes.
this? As Courtney says, we could
Yes,
have like
book signings
yes,
and
and we have plenty of parking, so it's not a
right.
big deal.
Yeah, and it would be a nice I think it would be a nice little destination
Ooh, Ben's got
point.
a point. Fool's Con
Um,
project. I'd have
yes.
everybody here. If I
Yeah.
was just setting ready to go, I could
Yeah.
just bring all the muscle over here
Let's plan for
with a
that.
plan. Oh my God,
Yes.
Ben, you're brilliant. So,
Thank you, Ben.
so yeah, I mean, just because
Mhm.
there's a lot of shifting around of very heavy things that has to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, everything I own is heavy. Um, my cutting table, however, is on wheels. So that's just like roll it back to where it goes.
Mike, her business has a name, so, as much as that is a good idea,
Yeah, no, my name of my business was given to me by a very dear friend named Mark Lewis many years ago. It's called Tatters and Ravelings, which applies to both books because
Mhm.
everybody remembers the Tattered Corner. The
Yes.
Tattered Books was and Tattered Tatters and Ravelings refers to the capes that I use for research and stuff. So, so I'm already Tatters and Ravelings. So,
Yes.
and it's just going to stay that, because Mark also did a drawing for me of a tree house that was a bookstore and tailoring and kind of things, for that as well. So it stays. That's my name.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the story. Actually, I found a guy who's selling off bookcases. So yes,
So-
that's something that's part of the plan. Racketeer Press has to own its own bookcases. So Racketeer Press is going to buy some. So
Yes.
because we're going to need them.
Mhm.
And there's a guy selling off some really great looking bookcases. So we'll get there.
I wonder if he'll deliver.
He does.
Oh, good.
That's one of
Because I'm like 10-foot bookcase. I have a 6-foot bed in my truck.
Yeah, no. So, but so I'm gonna have to spend some time with design and figure out how it's all gonna lay out in the store. So,
but if we plan for the big move to be Fool's Con, then
that would work.
That would work. Gives you a little bit of time.
Of course, it's the end of April. That's a long ways away.
It is a long ways
I'd like to do
away.
it sooner, but
we'll see.
I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I could probably get it decluttered enough by Fool's Con. Oh my god, there's so much stuff in here. Anyway, but yeah, so that plans are afoot.
Yes,
to do that, just because we're kind of getting to that point. What we'll be doing is flipping the sewing area and the sitting area where we are now, moving the sewing area further back, and making the front more all of this. So
yeah.
I
mean, my exciting project is my son is moving out all the way because he just got his apartment. And this weekend, this weekend, for the small cost of a trip down and fully loaded in my truck, I get a art studio in my house.
Yes.
So I am really looking forward to that.
I've said this like 6 times, and I'm going to say it again. We are going to go visit him. We're going to do a housewarming party at Johan's new apartment. We're going to dirty every single dish in the house, and then we're going to leave. So,
and I'm not sure he has a dishwasher in that little.
I know.
It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and he told me it's 400 square feet. So y'all can imagine this.
So we're just gonna go here. It's like we can breed food. We're gonna eat everything in his refrigerator, and then we're gonna leave. So. Yes,
Yeah.
And then we'll do it again, and then we'll do it again. So. Teenager's revenge. It's like I did that to my daughter when she moved out. I went to her house and trashed her kitchen and left again. And she's like, "Mom," I'm like, "And?" It's like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go home now." It's like, anyway, it's okay.
So let's see here. We've got Last Call. Our goal is to have Last Call published on or before December 31st.
Yes,
to have it published at the end of the year. So that's if you got my email to warm you up on that, that's to let you know that we need to get it into PubShare. We need you to sign contracts.
Well, we have
We're
to
moving
send the contracts.
fast. And you have to move with us.
So tomorrow afternoon, like I said, we're cross training. So Cedar's going to learn all about what it means to do contracts.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that tomorrow after you get done with live stream. So we'll just plan on doing it then.
Yep.
And get all those out, because then we have to turn paperwork. Oh my God, it's astonishing how much paperwork is involved. But we're pretty excited.
Yeah,
that we're going to end out the year on that.
I've got the layout done, and I sent the proof off to the people that need to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure I didn't miss anything egregious, because more eyeballs is always good.
More eyeballs is good.
So let's see here.
We talked about the contract, which we'll probably snip that out and put it up as its very own little video,
right?
Because a lot of people have been asking about that. I think we just have that up so people know. Because we're different, we're weird, so we talked about that.
The last book to come out from Rack Press was He Was Dead When I Got There.
Yes, which got a really nice Insta launch and went straight to #1 on Travel Humor.
Yes.
So
and also, nice Christmas present for me, the book that Sam Robb and I collaborated on for the October prompts for my Inktober drawings, and Sam wrote my flash fiction to go with each one of those. That is now out in a book. And Amazon was bizarre, because normally Amazon has problems with paperback, right?
We always have
in this
problems
case,
with paperback.
The paperback, smooth sailing right out there. The ebook
forever.
They gave us a
Oh
problem
my
with
God.
it. We solved that, and then they're like 5 business days, and then it got published on Christmas, which is not a business day, but that's okay. I take it.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, no, it was good. So that One October Night is now out there,
Yay.
and that one's it's going to be interesting to see. Sam is so excited about it. It's so funny. I mean,
And that was
I'm
just a
excited
spur of the
about
moment
it too,
thing.
but it was just kind of one of those.
It was a collaborative thing that appeared out of nowhere, which we
Yeah.
seem to do a lot of. So
Yeah, and it was great energy in that project. So yeah, no, I absolutely think that book's going to do well, even though it is a little weird and hard to categorize.
and that would
yeah.
be different in how with this gang.
I know,
So
I know,
it's like,
I know. But anyhow, so
but that
let's
was
see
fun.
here.
I
What do we
think
have for open calls going right now?
well, we have closing. Giant Freaking Robots is closing on
yes,
Friday.
yes.
So
if you're working on a Giant Freaking Robot story,
get
it
in.
done. You have time. I have faith in you.
I believe in you, senpai. So let me look just a sec here.
Oh.
Because we have, let's see. Oh, Freaking Robots Pinup Noir closes the 12th. We've got some time on that one.
Mm-hmm.
We have opening. I want to go look at the calendar. I hate looking at the calendar. I have a love-hate with it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I mean,
okay.
We are moving into a season where if you want to write a story, then
Get busy.
we have open calls. And even if it's not open yet, you can go ahead and start writing for it. And then you'll just be ready when it opens and you can send it in. And if you have questions, ask questions.
So,
we're happy to
next
answer.
one, January 8th, Weird West opens.
Ooh, yeah.
We should talk about Weird West like next week.
Yes, we should.
Because Weird West is going to be a really fun one.
We should get the guys to talk about that Thursday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Actually, that's more that. So that was more of a Courtney idea, wasn't it? Or Courtney and Ian should chat that.
I mean, I figured we'd get input from everybody on that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I mean, but that one's that's kind of a fun one. That one's I'm really interested to see where those go.
Yeah, and I've got to start working on a cover for that one. Because I usually start working on cover art when I know it's going to be opening is my cue to let's get on the art. So I don't have time to procrastinate, Wampus Cat.
Okay, so now I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to close this calendar and not look at it because it's got me going, ha! So don't even think about it.
Yes,
there's too many
it doesn't matter what genre you want to write in. We have an anthology where it will fit because we have coffee anthologies coming, folks. And coffee anthologies.
I am so looking forward to that one.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's towards the middle of the year, but I mean, Dave is so excited about that.
I need to have him.
We want to interview Dave.
Interview him.
Yeah, because he's kind of become this. We have this whole shelf of coffee beans up there and all the different flavors. And
no, but he's so funny.
He's a fun guy. He's really a fun guy. Well, we proposed this to him. He wrote us back.
Jesse.
Yeah,
I like that.
So
he says his Weird West will be in when it opens.
Thank you, because wow, it's like at 11:56. It's amazing. Ping, 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 ping. All these things appear in the email, which I find hilarious because now I've just started saying midnight wherever you happen to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so yeah, it's been interesting.
I don't want to lean on your cat. I have 3 cats at my house right now.
Yeah,
which is one more than I had planned.
Right? What?
Good Kitty Boo report.
Okay, it's because we're like over for 3 minutes now. So you do Kitty Boo report, and then I'm going to go home.
Okay.
Because my cat has developed an allergy to catnip.
Which is sad. Poor Henry.
He can't even get stoned, the poor thing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he got a catnip toy, and he was like rolling around on it and going, being oh so happy and laying there going, I'm like, okay, Henry. So now he's got a big broke spot on his skin. Is broken out. Oh my god,
poor
it's so ridiculous. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I put down the wet food this morning, and Kitty Boo actually came into the room while I was still there, and then let me pet her while she was eating.
Oh,
so
most excellent.
Yeah.
This is happy.
We'll get her all happy with the family. Yet won't take too long. I don't think.
But she'll figure it out. So
yep.
So yeah, that was kind of a download. So
I feel like we talked very fast and threw a lot at you. But you can go back and listen to it later, and YouTube will let you slow it down.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm very definitely not from the Midwest. I discovered when I went back to San Francisco, it was like, these people are talking my speed. So one thing about being there is everyone was like, they don't drive that way on the freeways. So I was like, but yeah, I come back here and everyone's like, you're not from here, are you? I'm like, no. So anyway, okay.
Okay.
I think
I think we're done.
We're so done.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. End. Really end. Okay.